So it's time for a cold start. Make sure it's in neutral. Get my gauge powered up. While I'm here, I'll show you some things. Oh, it just powered up. So this is what I use to log everything. It's tied to the computer. So you can see the RPM right now. It's at 99 degrees, 0 miles an hour, which is good. And then 75-degree intake air temp. So here's the factory radio. It's got factory altimeter. I've got the switches here. This is the right seat heater, left seat heater, and then obviously rear defog. And these two, one runs the rear washer and one runs the headlight washer. I've got switches here. Kids like zombies at the time, so I put these switches in. Zombie lights. Got one on each side because I've got two sets of lights wired. But I don't have any lights actually in it right now. This switch here is for the dual battery system. So whether you on one or both together, you flip the switch. And this light here I put in, that operates or tells you that the second battery is charging right now. So it's actually adding it. As part of my harness, there's a switch in here that I just leave set here. That's a four-wheel drive switch. So what that does is if you're in four-wheel drive, you should flip that switch and it changes the shift points. I also changed all the vents to open close, just so you can open and close all of them. On the factory one, the center ones are rigid. Dash cap's in really good shape. And we'll go ahead and back it out. Starting to settle down a little bit. Once it warms up, it usually runs right around 600 or to 650 RPM. Warming up a little bit now, so I'm gonna go ahead and back it out and do a walk around after we look at the engine. So, engine's running nice and smooth. Everything works great in there. You'll notice, see how bright the lights are? Those are all LEDs, all the way on the outside. So let's take it out. An underhood tour of the 1987 FJ60 with the 5.3 Vortec. Get over here on this side. Obviously there's a motor. It's got an FJ62 air cleaner on it. Dual battery setup. So the coolant tank had to be moved over here and the AC dryer here. I like the FJ62 because you can get cold air on it. It's got the original Toyota radiator, works great. It's got the Durali dual electric fans. Fan 1 is set up for the AC to come on when the AC, and fan 2 comes on at 201 degrees and shuts off at 195. Got this little sight glass right here for the coolant, and it also, because 5.3 have small radiator hoses, it also adapts the smaller to the larger hose. And then the steam hose, as you can see down here, is directly into the water pump. Again, dual battery setup. All the electronics are on this side. So we've got, if you look down here, there's the fan relays. Over here is the headlight relays. There's a fuse underneath for the headlights. This is the dual battery isolator. And then I've got positive and negative bus bars here. Make it easy to grab power if you need it. Windshield washer tank operates great. Also got over here the original wiring harnesses. A lot of them were used for emissions. I kept them in there. This is a separate fuse box that runs the heated power seats, and also the rear lights are hooked to it. And there's quite a few open circuits left in it. It has 5 relays and 10 fuses, and all the wires are underneath it. And then the ECU is here where the original fan was. And then I tried to put all of the wiring underneath the hood, underneath the battery tray. So everything is in this area. And other than that, it's a 5.3. It's got a Texas Z06 cam in it, which gives it 371 horsepower at the crank. And there's a dyno video with that. Up here is the cruise control. So that's off the factory GM cruise control, so that operates perfectly. And everything else. Did replace these hood bumpers, but the rear seal and the hood seal and hood insulation, those are all new, or not new, original. And then I replaced the stock springs with these lifts. Just works a lot better. Anyway, if you have any questions, oh, one more thing. It's got an 80 series transmission cooler in the front. So other than that, if you have any questions, give me a call. Thanks. So just a walk around here to get you to see the whole outside. Hood. Windshield surround, that gasket's brand new, OEM. I actually replaced all the wiper arms, upgraded them to Tundra arms because they got much better spring rate on them. I did add the FJ62 mirrors because they're bigger. So this has got the BMW seats in it. I'll pull this key out. All the locks were replaced, all 6. All 5. All the doors, the rear hatch, and the gas gauge, the gas door, all match. So this is these are BMW electric seats. They've got the bolster that comes out. Oh, you got a little O-ring in there, and some crackers. But they're power front and rear, power tilt. Memory is not hooked up. And then again, this is a new carpet. All the carpet's new. Put all the original pedals back in. I put an FJ62 brake pedal in. Nothing's worse than doing a conversion and having a tiny little brake pedal because you're supposed to have a clutch. I also changed out the metal cover on the hump and put an FJ62 shifter in it. So that works. And I also did not put a twin stick in. A lot of guys put twin sticks in. They probably work a little better, but I like the OEM look. Sometimes it's a little challenging to get over to low, and that's just binding in the linkage. They don't line up really well. So Tuffy console. This seat will go back almost too far for you to reach. I'm going to go ahead and roll it up or move it up so you can see the carpet in the back. Again, I showed you earlier, but all the OEM gauges work, radio works, altimeter works. Here's the door panel, nice clean original door panel. Good speaker grills, not cracked. Here's the back seat. I had that recovered to match the front seat. Again, kind of detailed, but I don't like to put in new front seats and have the back seat not match it. And here's the carpet. That was new. For the Tuffy console, it sits quite a bit off the ground. So I took an old console that was busted off the top, and I cut the bottom of it out and slipped it underneath here just to cover it up. That's all it does. You can slide it right out if you want to, but that's all it does. Upgraded to FJ62 seat back, so I could put in shoulder belts and get the seat back. when they recovered the seats, they made sure they put the pocket here in the center, because when you tilt the seat down, you're supposed to take the receivers and put them into the pocket like the original seat had. And then here's the door panel. I'll give you a shot of the headliner. Really nice, clean headliner. I did upgrade the interior to all LED lights, front and rear. So that's already been done. Here's a more walk around to the side, get a chance to take a look at it before we go around to the back. Left the decals on the windows because I really like them. Again, the front and rear bumpers are both original, and they're in really good shape. They're probably as good as what Toyota brings out new. And the taillight light was in good shape. I put LED lights in it. Little rubber piece, you'll see that missing a lot of times. They're really bad. Again, not that problem here. So you look in the back, I put the FJ62 speakers in it. The panels and everything. Actually, I had to get a different panel for the FJ62 for these, but the other ones are all the original panels, original wheel humps. They're a little worn from use, but the speakers work great. I have the, if I can reach in here, the tools and the jack are still there. Washer is still there. Those all function. Nice. I mean, there's no rust anywhere in it. This is the original piece that was on there. If you look at the hardware in it, all the hardware is original to the truck. It just tells you that it was in really good shape. I didn't get it replated, didn't have to do anything to it. That's all the original hardware. So this truck was in really nice shape. Functions really nice. No binding in the seam or in the hinges like some do. You see a lot of these will bind. Talked about the lights. So here's the harness for the lights. So there's 2 power and a ground here. If you decide you want to put rear lights on it, or if you put a rack on it, the lights are already wired. They're already wired to the dash. All you got to do is put the lights up and wire them up. Shuts really nice. So the back, there's the back. We'll walk around to this side. Again, stickers like them. You got a chance to see me there. Original door panel. Here's the carpet. Again, original hardware in really nice shape. The seats moved up from showing you the back, so I slide it back. It goes back just as far as the other one. All the way back. And then this has, I've got a little light in here because it does have underneath the dash the little plug for the light. So a little inspection light. Just had a new evaporator put in it for the AC. Everything functions perfect. Windows crank really nice. Doors just shut. No slamming the doors. Really put together nice. I'm not going to climb up on the roof, but I'll hold it up there so you can take a look at it. I did take out all the old seam sealer, put new seam sealer in it before it was painted. And you'll notice no chrome trim here, and I did not put the chrome trim back on the windows. I have all that. It's in really nice shape, but I thought it was a nice touch not to put it on, because if you put it on and go to take it off, then it's probably scratched up. So it's a one-trip deal. Also, I had a guy put in, you can't hardly see it, but if I point to it, you can, 3M front mask put on it. These are so flat in the front, they rock chip up pretty good. So I had the mask put there. I pulled the front bumper off, and he masked this also all the way across. So keep that nice and clean. Headlight washers work. Everything functions perfect. There's one imperfection on the front bumper. I want to point out the chrome right here was lifted a little bit, so I make sure I treated that and just took some silver paint, kind of touched it up, but that's the only flaw in the bumper. The end caps and everything are just in awesome shape. So there you have it. 87 FJ60, 371 horsepower LS. Thank you. Here's a little acceleration video.
Okay, this is a 87 FJ60 with, what's the size of the Vortec?
5.3 Vortec.
5.3 Vortec, yep. We're just going to run down the road here a little bit. Up to about 70 miles an hour. Runs like a dream. This truck has a lot of tasteful modifications.
Here's a short little video driving down the road on the freeway. Speedometer reads about 71, 72, somewhere in that area. You look over at the ECU, it's reading 71, about 2150 RPM. 190 is the temperature. It's been at that for a long time. Intake air temperature is 77, so that's the FJ62 air cleaner that I put on this. So it's drawing air from inside the fender well. Makes for nice cool intake, which is what you want. 2172 is the RPM. You look at the factory tach, this is a 62 tach. Reads identical. You got the gauges over here. Shows it's charging. I don't know if I can see the temp. It's about just below a quarter. And oil pressure. Runs about 50 pounds at idle. I've never checked it at highway speed, but it's just about way over 3/4 on the factory gauge. So heading down the highway, nice sunny morning, clear, beautiful day for a drive. Video of the bottom of the 1987 FJ60. All the work on it was done about 8,000 miles ago when I did the restoration. Suspension's all new, it's all OME, new shocks, new steering damper, new springs, bushings. It's got greasable shackles in it. I replaced this rod with a new OEM Toyota one because it comes with the ends. On this rod, I just replaced the tie rod ends. All the knuckles were rebuilt. I extended the bump stops for clearance on the engine pan. And I did replace the differentials with 411s. So here's some shots of the frame. I do daily drive this basically all summer. So it gets driven regularly in the summer. Get underneath here. You can see a lot of the original undercoating is still in place, but it's really nice and clean. It's got the skid pan. I rebuilt the skid pan to fit the transmission. New cross member, exhaust is in front. Drive shafts are all new. These bushings and bearings are all new also. I get back to the rear. Again, new shocks and struts. Here's some shots of the frame. It's underside, so you can't see a lot. Tranny, bottom of the body, inside of the frame over here. Here's a fuel pump. Fuel filter. I use the original tank. Again, both drive shafts are brand new. Get underneath here. There's a rear axle. Inside of the frame rail. Top, give you a good idea what it looks like under here. I did put FJ62 sway bars on it. New sway bar links. And I did replace the C channels. They weren't in bad shape at all, but because I had it apart, I thought that would be good. Just preventative maintenance, because they generally rust there. So they were replaced on both sides. It's got I believe this is a U-Haul trailer hitch. It's a nice hitch because it bolts right up here in the center. You just have to put a 1/2-inch spacer in it. And then here's some pictures inside the wheel wells, frame mounts. None of those were restored. They're all in really good shape. Another motor mount. Let's get to the other side here. The inside of the frame, inside of the wheels. Motor mounts. Again, a lot of the original undercoating still in place. Again, the frame. I generally treat the frame with fluid film on all my vehicles. That's just good preventative. So there you have it.